smoke would fill the night. We just roll right through stop signs. I know you hear it all the time, how you radiate sunlight. Well, just stay between the lines, put this foolishness behind. Whoa, whoa.
You are one of my oldest friends, not old as an age, but one of the people that I have been friends with the longest in my whole life. And I super value your opinion on everything. And you've always been an inspiration to me. Just your sense of self and your strength and your ability to just be an amazing friend. So that is why I felt like it was important to have you as my first interviewee since since this podcast is about me and it's about me figuring out through the people that I love how I can improve myself and get rid of this like nagging thing that I have always had in my life, which is the need for external validation from everyone. I know you've done a lot of training in all kinds of things, and so you bring that as well. But your expertise as a human and your life experience and knowing me and my flaws, so you can be real.
Okay. For the first time.
Right. I mean, this is like a typical Friday night conversation for us, but
it's true. It's just being recorded.
Yeah, I want the world, or my tiny little world, to see, and maybe someone can gain some kind of insight from it. So, what do you think my biggest flaws are in this problem?
What do I think your biggest flaws are?
Specifically to this.
Yeah, okay. Let's see. I mean, in my experience watching you, I think I wouldn't say this flaw necessarily. I think you love people, and I think you're fascinated by a lot of things. And so it's kind of like, I feel like it's easy for you to be really drawn to a lot of different kinds of people. And then when you connect with them, sort of find the parts of them that you like and sort of take on those traits for yourself, which can be an awesome tool. I think where it gets tricky is when that's the only way you're sort of creating your sense of self. Well, mostly because then you're not really learning your shadow side, for one thing, because you're really just connecting with things you like about people.
What, did you say shadow side?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I need you to explain that after you finish that thought.
Okay. And then, well, I think that's the biggest thing. And then the other thing is that hard to maintain authentic relationships when people come to expect you to mirror them. And then when you suddenly have this moment where you're like, wait, maybe that's not who I am. Like, I took it on, I tried it on, didn't really work for me, so I'm going to go back to maybe what resonates more. And then people who maybe you're drawn to then feel like it's a rejection, or like like your tendency to maybe be drawn to narcissists. Like narcissists want everything to be reflected back. So when you switch and to find yourself in the way that we all inevitably try to find ourselves, because we all have an internal compass of like, this feels good, this doesn't feel good, then you're going to end up just having relationships come and go, which can be draining. And that's what I think.
You hit the nail on the head, or whatever that saying is.
That's exactly the saying.
Oh, okay. I almost said you hit the hammer on the nail, but
oh, you're becoming like your mom.
I know.
Me too. It's okay.
Okay, so what do you do? How do you address these challenges? Or do you even relate to people that way?
Yes. I mean, I feel like I've spent the last 10 years of my life trying to figure this piece out. And for me, you know about my background, but like I grew up in a family that was really, there was a lot of enmeshment. We were like kind of this not very well boundaried family. So, and I didn't really realize that I was such an empathic little kid. I was like constantly overwhelmed and constantly trying to like be what other people wanted me to be, fix everything, or, it was always this very confusing place. So it's taken me a long time to even recognize that I didn't feel worthy, that I didn't love myself, that I was constantly sabotaging myself, that I was constantly like, really fighting to prove my worth in the world.
Right.
So there hasn't been one thing. I think just like a really strong commitment to figuring it out. And I've like, I've like studied all these things and gone all these places. And I think the whole time I've just been trying to figure out like who I am and how I can be happy. Because I feel like it's really hard to feel happiness when you don't feel worthy of existing in a certain, deep way. But I think for me, that's kind of where the shadow piece comes in.
Okay, explain
and
that.
shadow work. So shadow work is, I mean, there's people call it all kinds of different things, but for me, I think about it like, looking directly at your darkness. That can be like looking directly at your depression, looking directly at your grief, looking directly at your shame, because our lives, I believe, are guided by shadow if we don't look directly at it. All the decisions we make are going to be motivated by avoiding the shadow because it feels too scary to look at. But what I've found, and I've really, this whole year, I've had so much time to myself, I've really dove deep into this. And what I've experienced is like when I really committed to looking directly at all of the dark stuff inside of me without judgment, had enough self-compassion to look at it and say, this is the thing, without being like, God damn it, like, I'm such a fuck up, or I'm never going to heal, I'm never going to figure this out, but like really to just look and be like, this is grief. And I'm just going to be with it, and I'm going to let it exist, and I'm going to let it have as much space as it wants, and it's going to hurt, and that's okay. And then when I really, really, really did that over time, it just didn't hurt as much. And I started to be able to experience, I like joy. Like I don't feel like I've really had much experience of joy in my life.
Wow.
Until really recently, where I'm like, oh, I've had, we all have like happy moments, but like joy that really feels like I'm connected to myself and I love myself and I feel like what a world we live in, like it's fucked up, but it's also beautiful. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it just feels different.
Wow. That's inspiring to me.
Oh, good.
To hear you say that because I mean, I know these things. I know these things ish about you because we talk so much. But if I didn't know you in that level of depth, I would not know that it's been a struggle for you because you present as so confident. I feel like I've faked.
Well, that's funny you say that because I feel the exact same way.
You feel
That I witness you as having a lot of confidence.
really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
So we're both really good at faking it, apparently.
I guess we're both really good at faking confidence.
I mean, I think we both are confident probably in certain parts of our lives.
Yeah.
We're
True.
both really smart, and that has gone a long way.
True. You're smarter
But
than
I
me.
think,
She's smarter than me.
but I think confidence for me, what looks like confidence has been protection,
Uh-huh. Yep.
which like super helpful. And I'm like really grateful that I had that as a tool.
Yeah.
But it's not truth.
Yeah.
It's not like who I really am. So it never felt satisfying.
Uh-huh.
And even like people are like, oh, it's like if you're not being authentic and someone responds to you like, oh, you're so confident, and I know that I'm not, it's like I don't get to. It's not like a moment of connection where I'm like, oh, someone sees me. Like that's when it feels good.
Right.
And so it just like, I don't know, I think a lot of people feel that. So you just feel kind of disconnected. Like then you have to keep pretending to be confident so that people keep thinking that you're confident because that's what they expect. But then you just get farther and farther away from yourself.
Right. Yeah. And I think something that you and I both realized in the last couple of years, and a lot of the world has because of Brene Brown, but is the vulnerability concept and how, I don't know about you, but it is scary opening up and being vulnerable, but it has for me resulted in the realist where when I'm thinking specifically about when I date, because
Yeah.
I do that thing that you said earlier where I want to be the perfect person for this person that I like, so I'm gonna anticipate their wants and needs, and I'm gonna morph to meet all of those things. And I mean, it makes me happy to be a pleaser. I like when other people are happy, but really, that's me not being confident with my own wants and needs. And
Yeah.
so when I do that in relationships, it always comes to a head. And that head is always me being like, wait a minute, this is one way. This is a one-way thing. I am meeting every single one of your needs. And I don't even know how to ask for my own needs until it's built up to this point where I'm mad, and then everything is ruined. Because by that point, I'm angrily asking for my needs to be met, and the person's like, this isn't what I signed up for.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I don't feel, this is going to get sad for a minute, but like, I don't, like, that's where my lack of confidence lies, is like, I don't feel like I can be loved for just like just plain old me. You know what I mean?
I think a big piece of undoing that belief, you don't have to, dig up all the dirt necessarily, but I think it's really important to kind of get to the root of where that voice comes from, like who voice is that made you believe at a certain point in your life that you had to pretend in order to be loved.
Ugh.
Because it's a story that, I mean, most of us carry from generations of women in particular, So I think sometimes, yes, there's something in our actual life that in our childhoods that created that story, but if you look at your mom, if you look at like the women in your family, like, is it a shared belief? And maybe not. Maybe it's you. Maybe it really is a specific wound that you picked up when you were younger. I think exploring that can be really, really valuable. And I think the other piece of where to start is like, and I know people have to, it can like sound so weird. It's becoming a little more mainstream as an idea, but like connecting with your inner child as a concept is really practical, actually.
Yeah.
And it's for me been game changing with, because what happens is like for you in relationships of, you know, trying to please and meet all the needs of the other person, like that's little Allison trying to stay safe because you have to meet, maybe there was a belief that you had to meet the needs of people in your family or else go away, like you had some fear that people were going to disappear unless you know their needs, right? And when we're kids, I mean, we come up with all kinds of stories about what we're I mean, I remember feeling responsible for like bad shit that happened in my family when I was like 6. I was like, this is my fault. It's like we do crazy things as kids in our heads.
Yeah, that's true.
A little part of you is really scared and thinks, oh, I have to please this person or else I'm not going to survive, or something equally scary, then, of course she's going to keep doing the same thing. But if you can parent her now, hey, little Allison, I know you're scared and you think that you need to please other people in order to be loved. I'm an adult. We've made it this far. Like, I'm here to tell you that that's not true. And we're going to figure out together how to create a new story. It can really change things because then you're not you're just not abandoning yourself.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Oh,
it's
I
fun.
love that.
Yeah.
That's really cute. It's cute and it's sweet, and it also really makes a lot of sense, especially as a person who doesn't like to be alone. It's kind of a way to make myself not feel alone. It's like there's this grown-up version of me and the little version of me, and we're in the same body, but we're two people, and one is coaching the other. And I mean, I know how to coach other people. I'm pretty good. Good at coaching other people, but I can't coach myself. So if I consider myself oh my God, I love this.
Awesome. It's so fun. And like my experience is that, once you have a relationship, like your little self knows that it's safe, like anytime you're scared or anytime you're angry, be like, is this me? Is this like my little self that's feeling triggered? Which blows.
It does blow. Because I'm trying to end, I'm trying to put out more positivity. So 2020 was rough for everyone, but I know that we all got something from it. So I want to know what the best thing out of 2020, the best thing you got out of the year 2020.
I honestly, it was a hard year, but it was a very good year for me in a lot of ways. So what did I get out of it? I mean, losing my job in March, which I wasn't super happy at, was like, and being able to be on unemployment and give myself a chance, like, go back to practicing medicine, which is what I really want to be doing. So that amazing to have that like time and space to do that. And just being able, I've spent so much time alone, and it's given me a lot of opportunity to heal a lot of things, and I feel like give me a chance to like really love myself in a way that I never have before. And I really don't think I could have accomplished if this year hadn't happened.
Wow.
So
Such a
I'm really, really grateful.
That's such a great perspective. I love it. Okay, I'm gonna go because Baxter is about to fucking bark his brains out. I love you.
When are you gonna edit it, like a long-term process?
No, my goal is to put each episode out within a week after the interview.
Whoa!
But I'm still learning editing, so this one might take a little bit longer. But
Okay.
Scattered memories in our way.